Hello, welcome back to Bald and Board Games. Bald is right here.
Board is over her.
Over her.
And we
There's no one down there.
are doing a review of Emberheart by Mindclash Games.
Yes, we just got done playing. We wanted to jump right into a review. We played a couple times, so we feel like we have a good feel for what it is, what we enjoy, what we don't enjoy. So we want to give you our opinions because you asked for them. You don't think you did, but you're here watching this video, which means you did. So, the way our review system works is we don't just give it a single score. We rate multiple categories. There are 5 categories. Four categories here because there's no story. 4 categories. There's storage, rulebook, design, and the gameplay. And those are also weighted to get us an average score of what our final score will be. So storage is at 15%, rulebook is at 25%, the design is at 20%, and gameplay is at 40%, which we feel is accurate to what most people appreciate about a game that will get you to buy a game or not buy a game, yada, yada, yada. So we're each going to give our own scores in those categories, and then the average of those scores, our individual ones in those categories, will give us the final Bald and Board Game score for that category, and then all those will be averaged out to give us our final Bald and Board Game rating for Emberheart, and it could end up
being one of 4 possible outcomes. It could be perfect if we both give 5s across the board in every category. It's only happened once in like 50-something review videos.
Yeah.
It could get a just okay, which is in the middle. So that's around the 2.5, 3, 3.5 range. It could be a must play, which is our 4 and 4.5. Or if it slumps to the bottom, then it's not okay, don't play,
throw away. Yeah, so as you'll see, the rating system, it gets progressively more difficult to get the better ratings, and that's for a reason.
We're going to start things off with our first category of storage. How does the things store in the edge?
Oh, this is all you get for the storage box. Everything is in baggies. The cards are loose in here, and then everything kind of stacks on top of that. So there isn't really a lot going on for storage. The thing that goes well for storage is the box top does fit flat. Everything does fit into this well. So it's not just an empty box with everything thrown in. It did come with baggies, and enough baggies, and ones that are different sized for all the components. They fit in well, which is great. But it is still just things in baggies thrown into a well that you could have easily made some sort of storage in here, even still with it being cardboard to store each individual piece or player pieces in, so that way you're not trying to cram everything down here and the cards will get messed up. So I gave storage a 2.5 out of 5 because I think it is just okay, but not horrible.
Yeah, so I'm not going to double over the same points. It's things in a box. The baggies are nice for each of the players. So, for example, if you're not using these 2 players, they can just stay in their bags. Makes things very convenient if you're only playing with 2 players. I thoroughly hate the cards, though. My biggest thing with games is if there's a bunch of decks of cards, I want to be able to grab the decks easily and know that this is all those cards for that deck.
Yep.
This shuffles them all up, especially if you put the box sideways on the shelf, which we stopped doing because of games like this.
It's true. So I went through and reorganized this entire thing behind us because of that reason.
So yeah, and then everything stacks on top. So I will give the exact same score at 2.5.
Okay. Next up is our rule book that we have right here.
All right.
Our rule book.
So first, artwork on the rulebook, pretty cool. Nice dragon, great. So rulebook starts off. You have a nice table of contents in front. Goes over different sections. You have your components list. Goes right into setup. Setup, I thoroughly enjoy. You have things numbered. Numbers associated to a nice, large, very clear picture.
Yep.
So player boards, off to the side storage areas, main game board, easily points to where everything is going. All of the things we talk about in design are nicely matched, and everything makes sense. So setup, phenomenal. For game overview and for like all the steps in the gameplay and everything, it is clear. It goes over each section. It has nice bold titles for the different phases and everything. It is very paragraphy and wordy, but we did read this once when we play tested.
Yep.
Everything pretty much made sense. So again, it just goes over each location on the board, has a location name and a symbol associated, which associates the decks of cards. So it is very clear, and they do give very thorough examples with pictures, numbers associated, and everything.
You're drifting.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm
felt
drifting.
And then a nice appendix here in the back for all the cards. So all of your hero cards, it explains what they do. I like that that's in the back. It's not really necessary if you read the card and you understand the iconography, but I like that it's in the back. So you don't have to worry about digging into it if you don't need to.
Just in case you need it.
And then right at the bottom here, after you've learned the whole game, 2-player mode, very clear. It's only a few changes.
Just a deck of cards.
And then beautifully, iconography on the back.
Mm-hmm.
I give this rule book a 5. I think it covers everything really well. It is wordy, but in this scenario, it doesn't bother me because everything is very clear, even though there's a lot of words.
Yep. All right. My turn. Yeah, you definitely are for sure. So the rulebook. So my things I love are the big diagrams like this, as well as the fact they have examples that are very clear in here. Like this here. So we read this, okay, take your turn. And we're like, oh, so does it do this? And as we look to the next page, big diagram. Yep, does that. And then everything here. So some of the sections where reading it could be confusing. There was a nice walkthrough, an example of these moments, like the mountain and how to do that. And it clears it up immediately. And the examples are not belabored. It's, hey, this person did that thing, so they do this. This person that thing did this, did this, and then just all the way down through like such. And they even took the time to add some flair in with some nice like little splash artwork, which is great. And then I agree with all the other points that you mentioned as well. I think if you're gonna have an appendix in the main rulebook, in the very back is the best place to be, so that way you're just having to flip right to the back and boom, especially if you already have this up so you can reference this. All you have to do is one page in and you just go.
If you can turn one page.
Bam, it's right there. So yes, very small rulebook, very clear rulebook. Only had to read it one time to understand how to play. Pretty sure we did not play wrong, so it's.
No, I think we actually,
I'm pretty sure we got. Other than the one time I forgot to put this down, you corrected me. But I
the
give
one
this,
time, found it 5 times.
the one time I found it myself after that. But yes, I give this a 5 out of 5 as well.
All right, next up is our design category. So we'll talk through how everything looks. So we'll zoom out to the full view here so you can see everything. But it'll go over how everything looks, what the components are made out of, and how they function. And is everything easily read on the board?
Easily read. All right. So for design, so first of all, these tokens we have are not in the base game. They have punch outs in the base game.
Of course.
These were extras that came with it, which
Deluxe
is fine.
version.
Exactly. Same
We
way.
do. I'm sorry. So we do include deluxe version in our ratings.
Yeah.
If we're doing a bunch of modules, we'll usually put that off to the side in our rating system.
Yep.
But deluxe is so common for most games, so it's included in my score. And
Yeah, I'm calling it out mainly for them, so that way, like if they pick up the game, they know that that's not it. Same with these down here. These are also tokens that you can buy separately that are deluxe. So really, that's it. Those are the only pieces that were deluxe because the dragons. Just these. Sorry, my bad. Just these are the deluxe things. These are actually all in the base game.
Yeah.
All the character pieces are in the base. These are the deluxe ones. These are the punch outs, which is amazing. Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So, I love that these are in the base game. because you're putting these down and on top of cardboard pieces, it's nice to have something else that feels thicker and feels different. The cardboard, like little punch-out pieces for the people, I don't mind. They are sturdy. They serve their purpose. They're all even, so it feels nice to pick them all up when you're going to stack them, which is great. They all look different. They're different colored and in different pictures for the color impaired. Board over here. The cards are all a nice linen finish. They're all very, very nice quality. The artwork, as you can see, is superb. One of the things that I absolutely love is the variety of dragons. They easily could have done the stupid thing and made every single dragon of the same color, the same artwork, and just had the different numbers. But instead, they have dragons that look younger to older based on their value.
Yeah.
So the higher the value, the more majestic the dragon looks, which I think was a phenomenal touch. I like even for the wild dragon, they have that wild dragon being different colors. I think that is great. All the cards stand out as their own thing, so it is not hard to tell what is what. The iconography is very, very clear, very simple. They did not overdo it whatsoever. Even down to like where they repeat iconography on the poacher cards. Like once you learn what it means, you're good. And it takes you 1 second to figure that out. For the player boards, there's an A side and a B side, which is great. The A side doesn't have an ability, but this is the same. The B side has the ability. I like that those have the asymmetry to them. Tracks, again, are very, very clear moving up. These are little cardboard tokens, which are fine. They slide right up. You're not doing much here. You're not moving the boards. They don't have to slot in. It's okay just being on top there. I think that that is amazing as well. I don't think there's much else left to really say except for the cards are amazing, the artwork is amazing, the components are amazing. So I give this a 5 out of 5 as well for design.
All right. Excuse me.
Shut up.
So I agree. Yeah, cards are all great. They're all very clear. On the backside, it's very clear what deck they're from. Every deck is colored slightly different. On the front side, it's very clear. Here's circles that match circles. Here's an ability. Here's a whole separate box of a different shade to say this is endgame scoring, and it's separate to do it. They even added a little thing here where, as you can see from Nick's player board, the dragon attaches. So you can see it perfectly link up. Mm-hmm. So cards are great. I do like that these are in the base game, but just in general, I do like that each of these shields have a little bit different of a symbol, matching your player house. It is fun to have that, a little bit thicker of a thing when you're putting down your people.
Our dragons are different too, which is great.
The dragons are both a little different as well, yes. I like the back artwork of the board too, like it's a little town. But then you have like, oh, you're in the town down here in the tavern in the Heroes Guild, but then you're out into the wild of the mountain.
Yeah, like
the
mountain's
bunch
on
of
the
dragons
mountain,
just flying around. So thoroughly love that. There's only one single thing I do not like about the design of this game.
Yeah, I know this.
So, for example, my mentor card. My mentor card, it says whenever you gain an expert, so anyone who's not the Grey Worker, from beer. Beer is the tavern, as we can see here, and on the back of this card.
Yep.
I want that symbol to be next to the word tavern, because there's 3 cards here covering that. The deck of cards is off to the side, yes, you can see the deck of cards. But I think it would have been very simple to say tavern, boom, have a picture in that same box of what the tavern iconography symbol is. And that's the same for all of these locations.
Yep.
That's the only thing I'm like, it would have made it a little bit clearer where I can quickly glance at an ability and be like, boom. Because like the garrison cards, we don't see the back of any of those cards based on how we structured them. And I kept having to look, be like, what the hell are the fighting spears? And I'm like, oh wait, that's the garrison cards.
Yeah.
They are on the card symbol. But again, if you're just glancing at the board, to look at the symbol on some of these small cards is a little annoying. It'd be great to have it like right here for all of them.
Oh yeah, they are. You're stupid.
No, they are, but
I know,
it's easier to have on board. So because of that, I'm going to give it a 4.5.
Yeah. I would have placed a bet on that one.
Yeah. Everything else is phenomenal.
All right. Time for the gameplay.
Yes. So the quick overview of Emberheart. It is a very simple game, but very strategic.
Yes.
You have a bunch of workers. Some are grunts, some are experts. Then you have little crest markers. You place experts and or grunts together. You put 1 here, 2 here, 3 here, etc. on the different locations to be able to do the ability or gain the cards and equivalents at that location. You do it across 5 rounds until in each round you place out all your crests or as many as you want. Once all the aids are taken, which give you abilities you can see there on the bottom of the board, the round ends. We resolve it in like a parabolic shape here and move on to the next round. Very simple, but there's a lot of strategy involved. There's a lot of different routes you can take, which I'll start right there. So one of the things I absolutely love about the gameplay is there is so many different ways to gain points, so we're not both doing the same thing.
Yeah.
We've experienced games very recently where it's like,
yes.
oh, the mountain, look at all these dragons at points. Oh, I guess we all have to go to the mountain. not the case. You can go to the mountain one turn and not the next, or not even go there at all and just focus other places, because you can get dragons here. So it is very well balanced, where points are spread out, and not only points spread out, they're spread out in a way where it's like, okay, you have 5, 2, 7 for dragon points. So you know that regardless of where you go, you can still get points. It's not like you can only go here to get the best points, and over there it's lower points. Everything kind of settles across the board. I thoroughly like how they structured this, where if you're the first player there, it does not mean you're going first there. Because if you put it on the 3, if I put it on the 4, I go first now. Or you have Sandra just being like, screw you, I'm getting rid of this card. Which is just for the 2-player mode. It has that 3rd-player variance.
Yeah, it's just this deck of cards here. You flip one, and it tells you where to put those pieces out.
Yeah, so again, usually I would go into like a whole long talk about gameplay. It's pretty simple. The other part of gameplay is your player boards. So you have attributes that help make things cheaper when using your dragon figure, which you can do once per round. It'll help you on the fire track. It'll help you get gear, as well as make the amount of grunts you need cheaper. So I thoroughly enjoy that. And the fire track I like, where if you're focused on, hey, I want the best dragons, it's going to cost you fire. So there's the disadvantage there, because the gap between the players, if it was like this player would get significantly more points because of that gap, add on to their final score. So I like that balanced aspect too. So even if you get the best dragons, you're going to get a bunch of points, you're still going to suffer on this track.
Yep.
The only thing, and we call this out at the end of our gameplay, or the actual playthrough of the game, is we wish there was private objectives.
Yep.
There is garrison cards, which are mini objectives, but you just pick up the card, it's face up the whole time, you know who has it, you know what it is. We wish there was like some kind of private objective milestone type thing, where you could be like, all right, at the end of the game, boom, I got 10 extra points because I did this thing. And that would have mattered. Our game literally came down to one singular point.
Yep.
Which is, again, great. That's why we love this.
Yeah.
But having that one hidden objective could have made like a fun hurrah moment for one of us. But yeah, I think everything worked well. Both our playtest and our playthrough. I'm giving gameplay a 5.
All right.
I'm not going to dock it for not having the expansion for, or add-in for the objectives, but it's just something we would like to have.
Yeah. Yeah, we're based, the gameplay score is based on what the gameplay is, not what we wish it was. If that makes sense. Okay. So for gameplay, I agree with pretty much everything that you said.
But
Bullshit. No. I really do enjoy the variety of options, like you said. You know, because we really do have different play styles, and what we do, like I'm heavy on the tracks, you went straight for the heroes and endgame stuff, and it really balances out. The fire track not only fits in theme to where like the more aggressive dragons are going to burn you, which is what the fire track symbolizes, and you have to kind of heal yourself, but this reminds me of Galileo Galilei, where what they tried to do with the little red people at the bottom, that felt heavily like torturous, and I hated it. It's the main thing I hated about that game. I loved everything else except for that. And this is how you do something like that. This track is very similar to where you have to manage this risk-reward situation. You can go for all that, but you're going to throw up this track or throw people onto that board, and then at the end of the game, the difference gives you points. This is more manageable. It doesn't feel dumbed down, and it feels punishing if you're not paying attention, but it feels like you can actually mitigate it, where that other track in Galileo Galilei felt like I couldn't really mitigate it most of the time. I felt like I had no choice but to do things that were going to push me at that track to try to even keep up based on what came out. Here is similar, but you have chances to back down that track, which is, phenomenal, which I love. I like the theme as well. Like the gameplay for this really fits in with the theme that they're going for as well. One of my favorite things are actually these aid situations down here. I thought that this was just kind of like a gimmicky, like, okay, cool, whatever. But like this one here, where it allows you to choose one of these two to flip over when you take it, can really turn the tides of a round. You can really screw somebody over. This one here didn't really matter as much to us. This one matters more if both people are really going heavy for the mountain, because you get to resolve ties and choose who's going to get to go first if they're tied up there.
I think like a 4-player game that would matter way more.
Exactly. It gives you the gear, which is good. But this one's probably the weakest of the 4, I think, in a 2-player game especially. Going back to fire, phenomenal. And of course, the typical take first player token, which again, could be amazing. So something that we didn't do, that we could have done, that I thought you were going to do in the last round, when you had 1 crest token left over.
Let's just kill the ground.
And I thought you were just going to kill the round, because if you did, it wouldn't have been as close. Because
No, I
wouldn't
know.
have been able to get the 4 green here and get one of these to even utilize them.
Well, that's why I took the 3rd.
Yeah.
To act like I was going to do that. Because, one, I wanted to see where you were putting your next one. To be like, okay, what is he trying to do?
Yeah.
And I thought back and forth, but I was like, I knew I was going to get a decent amount of points here. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go at least grab that, and then I'll just kill the round.
Well, that's what I was hoping, assuming you were doing. That's why I was like, okay, if I go too hard here, you're just going to take this. Which is why I put it the 3, giving you the chance to go above to potentially...
And I knew I didn't need any of those. All I needed was this singular dragon. I was like, as long as he doesn't come to the poacher's den, I can get the blue to do that. And you weren't going here. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go down there. I'm going to grab this.
Yeah.
It gave me 4 extra points only.
And so something like that whole conversation we just had is like the thing that goes on in your mind while you're playing, which is a lot of fun. And where these aids come in a way where you could really screw some more by just taking them.
Yeah, I didn't say in like the quick review at the beginning of this that as soon as all 4 aids are taken, you finish that turn cycle. And it ends. So even if you have crests left over, you can't use them.
Exactly. So if someone is like big up on points and you're worried, like, you know what, I'm not really doing much, I want to use my people, you can just go boom, 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 boom. Excuse me, and end it.
Yeah.
And we have what? How many?
5. So
we have 5.
You'd have at least 1 remaining.
Exactly. So I think that's great. Which I think that's just the one thing you didn't touch on, I think, in your story there. But I like the dragon abilities and being able to strategically choose which track to go up on based on your playstyle. I think that's phenomenal. Like, if you really want to prioritize being at the bottom of this fire track here to get the difference in points, you can just go right up the green. And this way, every time you put that guy down, you're going back 3. Bop, 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 which probably would have been smart for me to where I get the grunt and then go back. But then also, like, they all seem valuable because gear is also very valuable depending on the hero you have, but it lets you, essentially, it makes your people more versatile because you can change one specialist into another based on what you want to do that round. You can turn your grunts into specialists so you keep them. All that stuff is great. So I give this a 5 out of 5 as well. Absolutely. I do also wish they had objective cards. I can definitely see them doing some sort of expansion thing for this, to where they add in another potentially like type of dragon, like a purple dragon or something, to where they could add in different player boards, objective cards. There's also this whole part of the story to where these poachers came from some other island. I could see them doing something where you actually have an expansion board, which is their island. Like, you can go over to their island to try and save dragons, and maybe it's a more difficult challenge. Maybe if you do that, you have to have certain dragons with you to go over there, whatever it is. I don't know. There's so much they can do with this, so I'm excited to see what comes next for Emberheart.
Yeah, and we briefly called out, obviously there's player abilities on the B side. We use these 2, and we actually just happened to randomly select these 2, which is how we did the playtest as well. And it adds a fun aspect. We didn't touch upon the other 2, so if anyone's interested.
Oh, yeah.
So the blue one here, anytime you go up the fire track, you can either just gain a grunt, or you can spend a specialist to not go up the fire track. So it helps you avoid going up this track too hard.
Yep.
Mine as purple says, anytime I have a dragon and I'm attaching it, I can add a gear to it, and that gear will give me 1 victory point at the end of the game for each one attached. So instead of just having gear left over, as I'm attaching dragons, I can attach the gear. The other 2...
Man, that would have pissed you off if you lost by 1 point, and all you had to do is attach like 2 pieces of gear or gear to any of your dragons.
Well, it wouldn't have, because of this, it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah.
The other one's, the white one is anytime you attach a dragon to either a hero guild or to a preserve, you get a grunt, or you can give up a grunt to get a specialist.
Nice. That's cool.
And then the yellow one is anytime you go up one of the attribute tracks, you can spend a gear to go up. I'm assuming the same track again. I don't know specifically, but you go up a track.
I think it's probably any of them, because that means any of them to go up an additional track of your choice. That's crazy.
So there's fun benefits, but to our point, it all seems pretty balanced.
Yeah, I mean, you could really combo the yellow one. You like literally make sure you go to the warehouse every time, and just do like warehouse and your preserve, and just collect up on this, and just like get a crap ton of gear, and then every time you go up on that, just boop boop, spin, boop boop boop. That's crazy. Cool. All right.
So now we will give you our final scores combined for each of the 4 categories.
Yes.
And then what Bald thinks and what Board thinks as final scores.
Cancel.
To find out, is Emberheart perfect, just okay, must play, or don't play, or throw away? We should change it. We should add number 1 as throwaway. That gets worse than don't play.
Worse than don't play. Well, we haven't had one that's been there yet.
That's true.
If we have one that gets there, it's literally our logo is not. So if you look at our scoring system, if you look at the review videos and look at the badge, our logo is slowly falling apart the worse the score gets. So throwaway is just gonna be just
it's like we
it.
beat the shield so much. Like this is so bad.
There is no logo, just a throwaway. It's a trash can or a steaming pile of poop. I don't know. Luckily, we haven't had any of those yet. We're not that mean. We probably won't because we're probably not going to buy a game that's that bad. The only time it's going to happen is somebody sends us one and we review it. And when we get sent games, we let them know we don't hold back. We've had one or a couple that we definitely didn't on.
Yeah.
Okay. So first up, we have the storage. I give it a 2.5. Board, give it a 2.5. So Bald and Board Games gives it a 2.5. Before we continue, it's not really going to be a factor here, but just so you know, in general, for our review videos, we do not round up. If that ever was the case, we round down. So if you don't make it to the next half or whole, you end up at the previous half or whole.
For Rulebook, I gave it a 5. Bald gave it a 5. Bald and Board Games gives it a 5. Very well done Rulebook.
Yep.
Very clear, very picturesque, where it gives thorough examples that shows you exactly what was just explained right before it.
For design, I give it a 5. Board give it a 4.5, so Bald and Board Games gives it a 4.5. Design is absolutely spectacular. The one thing that they did miss was just putting the symbol for the areas next to the name. Simple as that, easy to see, and we don't have to worry about it.
And then finally, for gameplay, I gave it a 5. Bald also gave it a 5. Bald and Board Games gives gameplay a 5. Again, phenomenal game, point salad everywhere, but very balanced where your play style is just as good as anyone else's play style. So you have a bunch of different ways to earn points, you have a bunch of different ways to screw someone over and take points away from them.
It's true.
So really well built game, thoroughly enjoy. And one thing we didn't call out, it's something that goes into our thought process with ratings and playing, is how easy it is to get to the table. Setup for this was very simple. Very quick. Obviously, the box is annoying because you got to make sure the decks are all split out correctly, but very quick to set up. So it's something we can easily throw on the table, plays in about, and it says 80 minutes. It's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
We played in about 80 minutes. So it's something that's easy and a lot of fun, easy to learn too.
Yeah, one thing that we didn't call out because we're talking about gameplay here as well, I don't think either of us did, is that we mentioned it. You do have that 2-player deck variant, which this is one of the games where it works phenomenally. It's smooth. You flip a card, you put the pieces there, it blocks off spots. That's it. It's not annoying other than if you pre-planned to try and do something. But even then, like there's a workaround. There's a way to do it. So it adds a nice variety to a 2-player game that otherwise could just make a 2-player game stale. One person could get ahead with pieces to be able to always hit the top spot. So it deserves that 5. All right. So my final score for Emberheart as Bald is a 4.5.
And my final score for Emberheart by Mindclash Games is also a 4.5.
So Bald and Board Games' final score for Emberheart by Mindclash Games is a 4.5, which makes it
a Bald and Board Game certified must play. Must play category is literally that. It's a phenomenal game in all aspects. It is just shy of perfect. The big thing here, right off the bat, you would have saw it, is storage. If storage wasn't a 5, then that game can't get a perfect.
Exactly.
That was the big defeat. Everything else had 5s or 4.5s. So everything about this game is great. I would recommend out of the Mindclash games, we've played Anacrity, we've played this, we've test played Tricarion. If you want an intro game for Mindclash just to get comfortable with their play style and how they do a game, go for this. Again, it's easier to learn. It doesn't have all the modules and expansions like the others do. And it's dragons. It's a great theme.
I mean, in general, if you're looking to get into worker placement style games, or if you have people who either haven't played board games a lot, who are relatively young, also, and this is not a game that's specifically for young people. Like, we will definitely play this again because there's heavy strategy that is involved in this. But anyone who's not an avid gamer who wants to play a game, this is a great introduction into the worker placement style system where you're not really having to deal with managing your resources too much. It's kind of that with your people, but it's not heavy like a Anachrony or anything like that. So a great intro into that, but also a great game for people who are avid gamers who want to focus more on the strategy and less about the analysis paralysis and rules. You want to get right into it.
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal. Definitely a recommend. You should definitely own Emberheart for sure. Hence the must play. Just so you know, like the must plays don't come overly often. I think just okays come a lot. And perfects definitely don't come that often. We only have one of them, like we said earlier, because for that we both have to rate 5s on every single category.
Yeah.
If one of us doesn't rate a category 5 and we rate it a 4.5, it won't hit it. It'll finish at a 4.5 because of the round down system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially with our weighting system too.
Yes.
For specifically the must play, it heavily relies on gameplay in the rulebook. The design could be a 5 out of 5, and we've had games that have had a perfect design, but we're a 3 for gameplay. And we're like, this needs to balance better. So gameplay is very heavily weighted. Rulebook is next, and then having a cool design helps, but it's not the big thing.
Exactly. But thank you for joining us here at Bald and Board Games. We reviewed Emberheart by Mindclash Games. It got a must play, so go buy it now. This is not paid whatsoever. We just really like this game.
We did pay for the game, though.
We pay for the game.
Yeah.
It wasn't given to us. We pay for the game. They're not paying us to review this at all. You can, though. Mindclash. Hey, what's up? So, Bald here.
Board here.
And we will see you on Emberheart Island, saving some dragons, or
Killing some
switching
poachers.
sides and joining the poachers.